I've been driving for 40 years. 40 years, and I've driven in the States, Florida, Texas. I had a Texas driving license. I've driven all over Europe, Norway, France, Holland, UK. I've driven in the Middle East for 6 years. I've driven in Malaysia, motorbike and cars. I've driven in Singapore, same. And obviously the Philippines. Now I'm trying to convert my license to a Filipino or Philippines driving license. They want me to take a test again. Yep. Let's talk about it in this video. So hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. And I've been looking into converting my driving license. When I say driving license, I've got more than one. I currently have one for the UK and one for Oman in the Middle East. So what I want to do is have one for the Philippines, because you can drive legally as a tourist, but only up to 90 days. And I've now surpassed that. I've been driving for, just a little over 90 days, just over 100 days. So I thought to myself, I better do something about it. Now, when I say convert, I'm not converting as such. You know, you still keep your existing license as a foreigner, but it's just the terminology they use. But there's a lot of requirements. Before you even do anything, you must be, let me just read some of these out, and I'll put them on the screen as well. You must be physically and mentally fit to operate a vehicle. You must be able to read and write in Filipino, English, or any local dialect. No violations for traffic. You must be neat, clean and presentable. You must be well dressed. Same thing, innit? You must pass the LTO, that's the Transportation Office, written and practical driving examination. You must be a holder of a valid foreign license, and you must have passed the practical exam for foreigners from countries operating, it says here, right-hand drive. Don't understand that. Because here in the Philippines it's left-hand drive. Anyway, I think what they mean is, if you have a right-hand drive license as such, then you have to sit the test here. And you have to do the theory as well. Go figure. You must have been in the Philippines for at least 1 month. You must have a valid visa for at least 120 days upon the date of arrival. And you must be able to prove that you're going to stay here for at least 1 year. Okay, how do you do that? Anyway. And it's others. You need all the photocopies and blah blah blah, etc., etc. So let's talk about this. I've driven left-hand drives. I've driven right-hand drives. You know, I passed my driving test, if I can call it that, in the States. In Texas, it was a 5-minute thing, right? But here in the province, we have enlisted the help of an agency because my wife knows the girl. Obviously, you're going to pay a wee bit more. I'll tell you more about that later in the video, but I don't think I'll have to meet all these requirements. I think there'll be a wee bit jiggery-pokery going on, and maybe don't tell anyone. Anyway, maybe not, I don't know. All I know is I'll probably be getting a call to go for an eye test next week. Now, you have to do an eye test. They call it a medical. And I thought, medical? But I think it's just an eye test, I think. If you've already been through all this, then let me know in the comments. But the biggest thing for me is You know, I don't want to sit another driving test. Come on. I've driven in a left-hand drive car for the last 6 years in the Middle East. You know, Malaysia, what was Malaysia? Malaysia was a right-hand drive, was it? Can't remember. Yeah, but I was there for 7 years, and then other parts of the world. So, you know, it's bonkers, absolutely bonkers, to have someone who has a driving experience like that, I mean, number of years, to ask them to sit a driving test here. Really? Now, that aside, I understand where they're coming from, right? If you've only driven, what do you call it, a right-hand drive on the right side of the road, and you know, they're worried that you can't drive in a left-hand drive. Well, you know, I've already got my license for Oman, which is left-hand drive on the left side of the road. Sorry, the right side of the road. But I didn't have to do a practical exam in Oman. It was just a straightforward, here's my UK license. Okay, there you go, sir. And that was it. All I had to do was an eye test, which has to get done every year or every 2 years. And I'm okay, I understand that, fine. But that aside, why would you have to do a theory test again? Just because you're used to driving a right-hand drive on the left side of the road. What's the difference between that and driving a left-hand drive on the right side of the road? The theory is no different, unless I'm missing something. You know, the hazards are the same, the signs are the same. The only thing I can think of that might be slightly different is, here in the Philippines, correct me if I'm wrong by the way, when you have a red light, if you're turning right and there's nothing coming, you can turn right. Whereas in other countries like the UK, for example, you can't do that. Also in Oman and Dubai, if it's a red light, you can turn right as long as there's nothing coming. So if you're on the left side of the road, it's different. That's the only thing I can think of. If you guys can think of something else that might be different for the written exam or the theory exam, as we used to call it. You know, when I took my driving test, the first time I was 17, so that's 40 years ago. I'm 57, right? I'm going to be 58 next month. And back in those days, we never had a written exam or a theory exam. What happened was you went out and you did your exam on the road, which was about 55 minutes, if I remember correctly. And after that 55 minutes, you would drive back to the test centre, and the instructor would, you know, he's obviously sitting next to you, and he would have a little booklet with some traffic signs, and he would ask you 3 or 4 what they meant, and if you got them right, that was it. Now, when I did my bike test, you know, I can ride any motorcycle, any size. I did my bike test in the UK about, when was that, 15 years ago. And I had to do a theory exam then. Also an off-road exam, practical, and on-road. So your off-road was like doing like a figure of 8 and emergency braking and stuff like that. And your on-road was, you know, basically just riding on the road. So, you know, I've done all of that. But there's something else that I didn't mention at the beginning. So right now, if you're familiar with my YouTube channel, you'll know that we have a small bike and we have a car. We've got a Yamaha 125, and I've been riding around in the car for the last just over 3 months. When I go to get a Philippine license, I can only choose motorbike license or a car. It's not combined like in the UK. And I said, okay, what about if I want to ride the bike? Now, if you look online, right, it says you must wait 1 month before applying for a bike license. That's been changed. Now it's 1 year. What? So hang on, I can get my car license, but I'm not allowed to ride a motorbike, even though I'm allowed to ride any size of motorbike in the UK, which was quite a stringent test, by the way. You're telling me I can't jump on a wee scooter and ride around in the Philippines because I have to wait 1 year? Come on. Where's the logic in that? What logic could there possibly be for that? Absolute madness. So what do you think then? To me it all sounds way over the top. To have to go through meet all these requirements. Do you honestly think that everybody here in the Philippines is legal on the road? I don't. I mean, half of them don't even wear a helmet when they're on the motorbike. So, you know, and the other thing we had to do is, we got Ching's friend to go and get the emission check done on the bike, which gets done every year. I'm sorry, but an emission check. Look at the jeepneys riding around and driving around with all the smoke coming out the back of them. It's like, you know, you try your best to be in accordance with the regulations, but nobody gives a shit. And then they try and say that, you know, you're not allowed to ride a motorbike for a year. I said to my wife, I'm just going to go out on it anyway. To hell with it. What's the worst that can happen? They're going to fine me. That's never going to happen, is it? But I just wanted to talk about this. I'm not just like moaning all the time, but it just amazes me that someone actually wrote this. And this is on the LTO website, official website, it looks like. Because the address, if you're interested, the address, this website is ltoportal.ph. Now it doesn't mention GOV in there, but I mean it looks fairly official, although there's a few Google adverts popping up. But I just wanted to run this past you and find out if you guys have got any experience of this. I think in the province, it's going to be a wee bit more relaxed, if you know what I mean. You know, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, and all that. That's another thing, right? See, when I was looking through the requirements, it says, you know, you must be well presented, well dressed, neat, clean, and presentable. What's that? I don't want you Americans turning up scruffy with your hat and your shorts on. It's bizarre, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it great? So, yeah, anyway. I don't think I can talk about it anymore. It just amazes me. But anyway, guys, I appreciate all your support. As always, thanks for taking the time to listen to my twaddle. And I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.